General knowledge, questions and answers on the Great Wall of China. What do you know about the Great Wall of China? The Great Wall of China is the collective name of a series of fortification systems generally built across the historical northern borders of China to protect and consolidate territories of China states and empires against various nomadic groups of the steppe and their polities. Huiyao District, China, length 21,196 kilometers. How long is China's Great Wall and why was it built? Over 2000 years, many imperial dynasties and kingdoms built, rebuilt, and extended walls many times that subsequently eroded. The latest imperial construction was performed by the Ming dynasty, that is 1368 to 1644 AD, and the length was then over 6,000 kilometers, that is 3,700 miles. Why was the Great Wall of China built? The Great Wall of China was built as a military defensive line to defend the invasions from some northern nomadic nations. Apart from the function of defense, the wall also boosted the economy as well as promoted the culture exchange and national integration of different nations at its two sides. Where does the Great Wall of China start and end? Where is the Great Wall of China located? Answer. It is a huge construction which starts from Hushan, Liaoning is the east and ends at Jiaguan Pass, Gansu in the west across Liaoning, Hebei, Beijing, Tianjin, Jiangxi, Inner Mongolia, Ningxia, Gansu and Qinghai provinces. How long will it take to walk the Great Wall of China? It is around 18 months, winding its staggering way along over 5,000 miles. The Great Wall of China needs little in the way of introduction. It is long, seriously long. It would take around 18 months to walk its length. How many people built the Great Wall of China? The Great Wall was built over more than 2000 years and a length totaling more than 20,000 kilometers was constructed. An accurate number of workers is unknown, but it must be the millions. According to historian records, 300,000 soldiers were sent to build the Great Wall in the Qin dynasty and it took about 9 years. Who made the Great Wall of China? Qin Xinhong, first emperor of Qin, built the Great Wall after the unification of China in the beginning of the Qin dynasty 221 to 207 BC. China's first emperor Qin Shi, you must have heard of his terracotta army, linked the walls of the three northern states Qin, Zhao and Yan. How many died building Great Wall of China? It was about 400,000 when Emperor Qin Shi Huang ordered construction of the Great Wall around 221 BC. The labor force that built the wall was made up of largely of soldiers and convicts. It is said that as many as 400,000 people died during the wall's construction. Many of those workers were buried within the wall itself. Does the Great Wall of China end the ocean? It is where the Great Wall ends to the east and leads into the Bohai Sea. It is located in Shanhegun district of Pinhundago, Hubei, and is nearly 300 kilometers east of Beijing. What is at the end of the Great Wall of China? Shanghai Pass. At the edge of the Bohai Gulf is Shanghai Pass, considered the traditional end of the Great Wall and the first pass under heaven. The part of the wall inside Shanghai Pass that meets the sea is named the Old Dragon Head. Where is the end point of the Great Wall of China? The Great Wall extends about 7,300 kilometers from the Shanghai Pass on the east coast to the Jiu Pass in modern Gansu province. Below is a map showing the Great Wall's starting point in the Shanghai Pass in the east and its ending point at the Jiu Pass in the west. How many stairs is the Great Wall of China? How many steps to climb the Great Wall of China? The Great Wall is 21,196 kilometers in total, and it's almost over 30 million steps to climb the whole sections of the Great Wall. But don't worry, most travelers just experience about 3 hour hiking for 4 to 6 kilometers, which is about 5,000 steps. Or Mongols, Chinese. The Mongols are an East Asian ethnic group native to Mongolia and to China's Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region. They also live as minorities in other regions of China, example Xinjiang, as well as in Russia. What year was the Great Wall of China built? It was about 221 BC. Did you know when Emperor Qin Shi Huang ordered construction of the Great Wall around 221 BC, the labor force that built the wall was made up largely of soldiers and convicts? It is said that as many as 400,000 people died during the wall's construction. Many of those workers were buried within the walls itself. Why the Great Wall of China was built? The Great Wall of China was built as a military defensive line to defend the invasions from some northern nomadic nations. Apart from the function of defense, the wall also boosted the economy as well as promoted the cultural exchange and national integration of different nations at its two sides. When was the Great Wall of China started and finished? The Great Wall of China's history began in the spring and autumn period of 770 to 476 BC, was first completed in the Qin dynasty 206 BC, and was last rebuilt as a defense in the Ming dynasty 1368 to 1644 AD. Why did they build the Great Wall of China? Over the centuries, the Great Wall has been built and rebuilt for three main purposes, such as kingdom border defenses to defend China's northern border, and for tourism. Read on to see why China built or did not build the Great Wall in a different historical periods. Why did it take so long to build the Great Wall of China? No wonder they call it the Great Wall. Why did they build the wall? The wall was built to help keep out northern invaders like the Mongols. Smaller walls had been built over the years, but the first emperor of China, Qin Shi Huang, decided that he wanted a single giant wall to protect his northern borders. Who paid for the Great Wall of China? It was financed mainly through taxes. Starting in the Qin dynasty, the wall was so expensive it crushed their economy, sparking a rebellion. Later, during the Han dynasty, a popular state-sponsored lottery paid for great lengths of wall. How much of the Great Wall is left? The Great Wall, China's legendary defensive line, is the country's most important historic monument and a national symbol. The Great Wall has a history of over 2000 years, but now the remaining sections are those that were mostly built in the Ming dynasty. Less than 10% of the sections are well preserved.